Hello, everyone. We are live with Beyond the Mountains of Madness, episode 12. Didn't really have much of a long tunnel today because we had the fantastic little finale to Pendragon's Legacy right before us, which was excellent. I watched as much as I could before I had to prepare for madness and shenanigans for these fine folks here. Unfortunately, we do not have the fantastic Renee with us as she is still recovering from her surgery, so please send her some well wishes and good thoughts and, chicken soup, all that good stuff to help you feel better faster. Tea. But we do have these people with us, and they are currently in a great spot. So we're going to go around and we're going to say who we are and who we'll be playing, and then I'll do a little intro spiel. So, Crumpler.
Hello everyone, I am Crumpler64, and I am playing the artist hired to be cartographer, Baxter Wiggins. He is here in this expedition to help with the maps, and he is here with his sketchbook, amongst other needed tools such as rifle, shotgun, and pistol. Yes. Art stuff.
Definite art stuff. Definitely, there's an art to it, for sure. As a fellow Call of Cthulhu player, my character tomorrow would tell you that is the highest form of art, but that's for tomorrow. So let's pop down to Jimmersion. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Technical Tuesday here. I'm Jimmersion, aka Jim Moreno, geek content creator, journalist, geek writer, Geek and Sundry, and various other websites across the internet. And I am the Hunter Merrill here in the expedition. I'm the survivalist outdoorsman, trying to keep us all alive, but as you can see from last episode, I can't shoot things that affect our mind, and that's where we're all losing it. So yeah. I don't know how much longer I'll have a job.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry. I promise that there will be things to shoot eventually. So, but who knows when they'll pop up? Little Cup of Joe, how are you?
Hello. I'm Little Cup of Joe. I'm doing fine. My cats appear to have seen an eldritch being because they are going completely mad right now.
It happened. I must have accidentally woken out a little early. My bad.
Whoops. You gotta warn me, Lindy. I am playing Lena Stoddard, the archaeologist, who is still pretty darn sane. She's doing okay compared to literally everybody else. In fact, she's having the time of her life because they're in archaeologist Disneyland right now.
Yeah, basically. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. Not the City of the Elder things. Archaeologist Disneyland. So speaking of someone else who's having a great time and lots of fun, Pro Restarter.
Yeah, super fun, super normal. Hayden, especially after last session, had a super normal conversation with his friend Sebastian, who did the ancient blood ritual of friendship with its power. And I am the completely normal, sane flyer of the group, the pilot. And yeah, I'm just happy to be friends with everyone and remind them that that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Cool.
That's it.
So, also completely normal, insane psychiatrist Hollow. How are you?
I'm great. I'm back again playing Sebastian Wintercroft, the psychiatrist of this expedition, who is very quickly going very insane. But yes, friendship helps. I saw Goop last time. That was an interesting thing. He's still second-guessing his own mind, but we'll see where that goes. Very excited to play and have a look around Archaeologist Disneyland, of course. I just hope we don't meet any of the mascot.
No promises. But yeah, before we begin today's game of no promises, let's go remind you guys of how you can interact with today's show. First of all, we'd love to thank our fantastic sponsors, Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful dice rolls you see will be right here today. Also, waylandgames.co.uk. You can find a bunch of minis there. There's a bunch of really cool ones, a lot of terrain that I like, and it's kind of on my wish list. Also, Tabletop Loot. When we have 20 retweets, I can type the tweet command. Boom! Look at me, I'm a pro. When we get 20 retweets, we give away a set of Tabletop Loot dice. So check those out. And of course, you can interact with today's game as well. There's nat 20s, nat 1s, wild magic surges, and much, much more. So look down below here. You can see the donation table and do all sorts of fun stuff. Our players have quite a bit of natural 20s, so, you know, there's that. But who says they don't need other things? You never know. But let's recap what happened last week. So last week, they crossed the Mountains of Madness. And apparently I derped up the tweet command, but that's fine. So they crossed the Mountains of Madness. I can multitask. And when doing, saw some really strange things happening. Maybe particularly affecting our dear Sebastian. And, you know, it's fine. He'll be fine. It was only some psychological trauma as he endured some things. Several of the party members heard a bit of a song of the wind, perhaps, as they passed through the mountains. Maybe made them a little bit insane, just a little bit. Saw some stuff, landed in an ancient city that is 20 times the size of New York City, so the largest city they've ever seen, and it's in ruins. They're not even sure how large it is, as half of it is buried underneath ice. Just layers and layers of ice. They landed and started to do a little digging around. So they set up camp, and they are using the buddy system at Moore's recommendation. Starkweather just wanted to explore. He's taken the filmographer and just started recording stuff, but they've got the doctor, they've got Dr. Green, they've got Professor Moore with them, and they are buddying up and exploring a good bit of the city. Hayden and Sebastian covered a decent bit of ground. Baxter wound up sketching what used to be maybe a school of some type. Kind of strange, but, you know, told a big story in a bunch of murals, and he copied them all down pretty successfully. And Lena and Lois were exploring on their own as well. So I believe we just ended with y'all catching back up after a bit of time after exploring these close by spots, and so we will start there. You guys have just seen some stuff and are meeting back up with the group.
All right, so let's get everyone gathered around, cooking fire. Let's get some food and definitely some alcohol in us, and then have everyone report what we found. Lena, care to start?
Of course.
And she'll start to recount all the interesting sights they saw at the arcade. About these creatures that appeared to fly through the ether, the sky, something
Space?
like that.
Who knows?
Space. And after drinking some sort of solution, and how they did resemble the things we found, right? The creatures, whatever they are, that fly or swim or something.
Something.
So yes, she will explain all of that in the best detail she has, referring to the notes that she was taking. And she kind of nods to Baxter.
Might not be a bad idea to go back there and take some more rubbings if you've got the supplies for it.
Lenny.
Excellent. It was really fascinating to see, honestly, but I don't know if it's interpreting a legend or something else.
Yeah, I'll be sure to get more rubbings down for the rest of the group to make sure we got as much as we can get covered.
Yes, of course.
Go ahead and Baxter, let her know what we discovered in that building back there.
Gladly. And he just rolls out his last sketchings and rubbings out onto the table.
Oh my.
She'll take a look. And what was it? Because my memory is terrible. Lena's memory is good. What was it that they actually discovered?
They found out Lena and Lois had decided. I'm sorry, I was fixing a tech thing that I noticed was off.
No,
No
it's
worries.
Lena, there were carvings on the wall, and these things were probably 10 yards huge, each one. And it was just encompassed the entire width of this building, even the ceiling. And this building's probably 100 feet long. They're just all over.
Interesting. Hmm. Well, very clearly there was some sort of civilization here, but it doesn't track to any that I've ever seen before. It's far too old, but very advanced, all things considered.
And while you're
It's
on
unlike
that,
anything I've ever seen.
has anyone else noticed any other beings besides us here? Any tracks? Any signs of living, of furniture or anything like that?
Seals. Found seal corpses.
A seal out here?
Yes.
Was it like
seal-
recently been into, or is it like picked clean?
It seems the previous expedition perhaps was at Hayden.
Yes. We also found a canopy as well. Seems that they were staying perhaps here.
Signs of
Weird.
others that had been here before recently, then?
The previous expedition.
Yes.
But there was no
Yes.
mention of it before.
No,
No,
didn't.
they've never said anything about getting this far.
But one of you found a trail marker, right?
Yes.
Hmm. Yes, we did. We suspect that maybe there might be some underground like lakes or something like that that's letting these seals in, or perhaps they know of a different way through the mountain that's easier for them. Maybe worth exploring.
Yes, perhaps
I don't
only
know,
seals
this-
reside in the city now.
This seems kind of awfully high for a seal to be up.
Indeed, but it's right there.
True.
You know,
Yeah,
we found other strange beings. Maybe these are mountain seals.
Now at this point, and Hunter looks around it, and he's still this just wonder of amazement in his eyes, and he knows what he's seeing, but he still can't believe that he's seeing what he's seeing. And yeah, you know, I'm not privy to discount anything at this moment.
Seems a little bit preposterous to me, but we've also seen a lot of things that nobody would believe.
Like this
Oh.
entire city.
Exactly.
So what did you two find? Besides seals, is that it?
That was it, really. He collapsed connecting way. Probably led to a deeper inn, but nothing of note. Nothing that was. That's right? That's what we found. Because me, as player,
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah, you found
Um,
that, and then you found what looks like a star-shaped hummock with one of the green soapstone stars in the top as well.
Oh, actually,
As you guys went up.
I'm lying to you. It's right in my hands. Here, you can clearly see it.
As a matter
I
of
didn't want to draw
fact,
attention to it.
I just didn't say
I,
anything because I'm holding it out to my
Were
hand.
you hiding those in your pants too, Hayden?
It was in my hand. I just didn't mention it because you could see it.
Easy mistake.
Yeah. But the soapstone with the same markings, it was easily came off. But clearly,
We found another one.
yes, it was fixed to the wall, right? Just like popped off.
It was just on the snow, on a hummock.
Oh, it was on the
Like
hammer.
just like we found at the camp,
Yeah.
Strange.
leading you to believe that maybe they're grave markers of some type.
Seem like possibly some sort of grave markers, and I don't know. It seems as though it's writing, maybe.
That makes even
Can't
more
tell.
strange. If it's grave markers, who's marking them?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Perhaps those who came here last, or perhaps those before.
Why in such a strange way? We have no idea what these mean. Why not just put "here lies"?
Well,
No, it's
Obviously not their language.
no. Perhaps we will find more as we explore deeper. This place seems to be a large mystery, one which perhaps we cannot solve without more pieces of it, like a jigsaw without a central piece, you know?
yes. And honestly,
Yeah.
these sorts of things have never been solved in a single trip.
Yeah, it's only been about 4 hours.
Has the other plane done this yet?
Yeah, has Starkweather and Moore returned?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
are they at?
They didn't take the plane. They're all on foot as well. So your 2 planes are here, but you haven't seen any sign of Lexington's playing the bell.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
You haven't seen it.
So
Mm.
which way did Starkweather and Moore go to? Did they go to a specific location on the map?
Moore is basically studying everything people are bringing back. Pretty much everyone else is buddied off. Starkweather went off in towards the waterfall direction with the photographer.
All right. Everyone got to look at the size of this place when we flew over it, right?
Yes.
It was immense.
So the way I see it, we have 2 ways we can approach this. We can continue to spend our time searching the immediate area around this plaza thing, whatever this is here, not going too far. Or we can go for something more specific, more pinpoint, and follow or try to pick up and follow the trail of those trail markers, not knowing where or how deep into this place it'll lead us.
I would definitely like at least another day, a full day, of us just fully recuperated to just explore a bit more. I think we got a good chance before. This is something we haven't seen before, and I think we should just rush off after finding it. I'm sure
Indeed.
Lena has other things she might need to do.
Yeah,
Me-
Oh,
specifically looking at
Yes.
Lena when I'm trying to lay this plan out here.
Who's definitely been distracted looking around at the city.
yes, of course. There's so much to see here. As I said, there's absolutely no way we'll be able to uncover everything in a single trip. But we should try to get as much as we can.
Definitely.
Hey, what's the supplies that we have here for today? We can last on what we brought with us about 3-4 days, maybe.
5 days total, including today. So you have
5
4
days.
more full days. And today is pretty much on almost halfway over. So
We're already hunters thinking ahead. I don't know about you guys. I've been on a lot. I've been on many expeditions, but this, of course, is without a doubt the most amazing. And I want to get as much of this as we can.
Mhm.
And right now, with our supplies lasting about 5 days that we brought with us, I don't think there's going to be enough time.
Right.
Hayden, would you be willing to take a plane back and get us more supplies to extend our stay here?
I mean, I could, yes, but I wouldn't want to waste the fuel. And
That's why I'm asking
Quite a-
you.
it was quite a journey making. It's quite a journey making our way here. But I can certainly do that. With
awesome.
less people, I could pack more provisions. Also bring more people as well, so we have more of a wider team.
Well, I've been monitoring the weather while we've been exploring a bit, and the winds seem to have increased a bit up at the mountain pass. You can tell by the way the cloud formations are over there. I don't know if I recommend flying in that. It's very high winds right now.
A sure in the face. I will go.
She's not
Aggressive.
dead. Hope she didn't do that.
No.
Never come in the yard.
You can't do that. She's not even here to defend herself.
I made a meteorology check and I succeeded, so I thought I should let you know before you flew up into that.
It's alright.
Right, hey.
Did I ever tell you when I flew towards that hurricane?
I'm delighted to hear about it.
Got over the 15th time.
Yeah, he's heard
God.
it probably a lot, but he's very good at listening.
I was like, no,
I'd say.
please tell me more.
So what about this, Hayden? Could
Yes.
you fly maybe over the city just a little bit more? Do a couple of low passes and see if you can spot out something that maybe looks like we need to go to, something important. Maybe take Baxter and get some more mapped out. Help us
Yeah,
plot out
actually-
a route or something.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest that, actually, since we have 2 planes. It's this place is immense, and if we don't find anything in this location, finding another landable location is advisable.
Indeed.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I can definitely.
All right, so you want to fly up, you want to do like a low pass around the city a bit, pick out points of interest, and see if there's another good landing spot.
Yes. Lena, would you like to join us? Seeing the city from the air?
Probably not a bad idea for plotting out where to go next. If there's room, I'll take you up on it.
Of course, anyone's willing to join.
I'll join.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind a good look at the city from above. Besides, a slight change of scenery may do me some good.
Yes.
I will stay here on the ground. I'm going to grab one of the cameras off one of the planes
Okay.
and go to the building that Baxter and I went to and take some more shots and then maybe search
All
around
right.
here a little bit more.
A question for you. So, do you have any points in photography?
No,
Okay.
all I know how to do is point and click. Yep, that's all I've
Okay.
been doing, just point and clicking.
You open
Alright.
the roll, it all falls out.
Is it that easy to do in the 30s, though?
It's not. It's definitely
I didn't
not.
think so. I didn't think so.
The dark weather
It's
is off
like-
with Princeton right now with the majority of the film equipment, but roll me D100. Let's just see how good these pictures turn out.
I took some photos also on the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to lump those into, let's see, fantasy
Sure.
grounds is right here.
Keeps opening the hatch, exposing it to light. It'll be fine. Little light never hurt
checking it.
anyone.
All right.
It's all right. It won't matter.
That's a 57.
All right. Cool. I think you're taking great pictures.
Has he even taken the cap off?
I can't wait to go to that
Sure.
Kodak 1 hour
It
photo.
seems like these pictures are going to be great.
Well, the main problem is that the more portable photo picture one is it's one where you look through the top
Right.
and it's like
With
upside
little
down.
brownies.
And so you're like,
Yeah.
it takes you a while to figure it out. Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm imagining Hunter just being like, okay, no one's around.
I like to imagine there's a couple
Doing like
instances where
selfies.
Hunter doesn't know how photography works to a certain extent. Like he's like, it's upside down. So you're like, so that's why Francois was on the ground for some of those shots, and you're like taking the pictures upside down so that they look right side up in the little viewfinder.
Oh no.
Also taking selfies.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
figure it out.
Learning
when
from
you
the
know.
master.
Yeah,
Lordy.
fine. So that's what you all do. And does Baxter? Yeah, Baxter's on the plane too because he's supposed to.
Oh yeah, he would not say no to this.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna just make a pass, like a low, slow pass over, like the. I'm guessing you guys want to stay kind of like a day within a day's travel on foot of the. Yeah. So within a day's travel on foot, you do not find another good landing place. It's too densely packed of a city. There's a lot of rubble and ice and things kind of jutting up out of the ice. So it's kind of amazing you
Actually-
found a clear spot, anyways.
Actually, if I'm finding like a landing spot, it doesn't matter how far we're at because I can just fly away. That's what we're
Okay.
going through Hayden's head. It's
All
not
right,
like we need
give
to
me
go
a
back to
spot you
Marion.
can check.
Oh, anyone see anything? Anyone?
What are
Well,
we
I imagine
looking
Lena is looking
for?
for interesting buildings to
Yeah,
scout out.
yeah.
being the archaeologist.
Yeah, Lena would be looking for interesting landmarks to check out.
I'd give you a piloting check, Hayden, if you prefer.
Yes,
So you're-
please.
For okay.
That's almost a hard success. Almost, but not quite. It's pretty successful though.
That's not good. That's 100, isn't it?
That's a 91.
That's a 10. That's the first one, and plus 10. So
No, it's in a 9.
okay.
Mine is at
Yeah.
we flip them. So it's a 91. And how do I follow Blaine?
You don't find you're looking around and you don't find any good
No.
landing spots at all. It's just it's a huge city. It's either like I can't park on this, like it looks like the river was frozen in parts, and so it's like Johnny. You would not be able to land this plane without completely wrecking the entire undercarriage and ripping off the landing gear. You could land this plane once in this other parts of the city, but you wouldn't be able to get her back up after that, based on just
Okay.
sheer amount of buildings and not enough clearance. Like you're like, that street might work if it wasn't for this massive tower that doesn't give me enough wing clearance. Like if I cut off the half of the wing, I could land here. And you're just kind of looking around. And you're like, it's no good spots.
Blaine,
Please don't launchpad McQuack that.
it's just so dense. Yeah, it's
It's
too
worse than
much.
New York City. Like there's not even
It
like a central park. It's all buildings and everything that would have been a park is like jutting up ice and rubble from fallen over buildings. It's very inconvenient.
Well, let's do a few loop-to-loops and let's go back.
Yeah. So
You
Lena, you
warn
see
us before you do the tulips.
especially interesting. While you're flying around, you see that there is a large white obelisk. You see that there is a kind of, it's not quite a ziggurat because the dimensions are wrong. It's far too angular. You can like walk up the side of it, but there's a building kind of shaped like that. There's a couple pyramids that are connected like end to end. You pass by a couple of the sites, and you can just kind of look down and see there's not really anything in there, but they're interesting building shapes. You see that there looks like once a large pool of water or a pond. There's like a rather interesting, almost gladiatorial shaped building, like a terrace.
Okay.
It's very tiered with a big center, but the center is filled with rubble.
Oh.
As part of the
like
side, it's
like an amphitheater or
Oh,
coliseum type
like
of
an
affair.
amphitheater. Yeah. You see, let's see what else is there. What other super interesting things you find? You see some old headless statues that are pretty cool, but you don't imagine they'd be any cooler from the ground. They're actually probably cooler from the air because they're immense. You might not have even realized they were headless statues until seeing it. You see a couple of ramps, like spiraling downwards. They go so far down you can't see the bottom, but you see other little tunnels jutting off of them as you pass over. Yeah, you see frozen waterfall. You see Starkweather taking pictures there. It's very beautiful. But it's just a frozen waterfall. See what kind of looks like an arena? That's kind of interesting. It's like sunken into the ground. Again, there's the weird pyramids. There's one which it's like looks like a spiral, like a soft serve ice cream cone, but it's a building. And like the bottom section of the cone isn't there, and it's got like ramps leading up into the center of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So many
a
places
couple
to
of
go.
entrances. Yeah, those are the most exciting places you'd say.
It's immense and it's beautiful. If this was around, before it was so frozen, and
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Truly
Some of these
is.
buildings bear resemblance to ones that we see elsewhere in history. But there's something still a
Such
little
as?
different about them. Well, and she kind of gestures out to the window. If you see there that obelisk, and then well, that one looks a little bit like a ziggurat. You usually see them in southern Pacific or in areas like Mexico, the
yes.
South American ruins and things. That tiered pyramid sort of thing. And then look at that. It's a little bit like the Colosseum in Rome.
So it does.
I like
There's
fly
one more
closer
really
to it.
interesting thing you guys see in the plane. It's a bit far to travel on foot, so you're kind of glad you took the plane. It's a bunch of honeycomb-looking things. They are about 5-yard high walls, each maybe about 2 yards thick, forming rings of pentagonal cells or pins. You can see most of them are kind of filled with ice or snow, but they all overlap. Each ring sharing 2 cells with any adjacent ring. Looks almost like a beehive.
What's the beehive-like thing?
Massive in stone.
Are there many
Don't
beehives
know.
in historical architecture?
I've never seen anything quite like that, no. Not at that scale. It must be immense when you're actually up close to it.
Yeah, let me fly a bit closer. Now fly a bit closer.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to fly a little bit closer. You just get a better view of it. There doesn't appear to be anything in there except snow, but there's some weird stains on some of them, but they're like underneath layers and layers of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Black and blue and red.
Well, it looked like there was something under there, but given our track record of what we've uncovered when we dig out through ice, I think perhaps we'll save that for another time.
Yes.
Yes.
Perhaps when we get back to the camp, we can just move everything over here and the large expedition crew.
Does seem like a good location. I'd be interested to see that Colosseum as well that you mentioned.
Yes. I'm very curious about that white obelisk I saw.
She kind of
White
looks to
obelisk.
Sebastian a little bit meaningfully, because she did tell
Nonetheless.
him about that meeting at the
Mhm.
tower.
Yes, I believe we should probably attend to that.
Mm.
With haste, perhaps.
It's worth looking into.
Indeed,
Anyway,
yes.
there's a lot to
The whole
see,
crew
and
will be-
yes. We'll have to figure out where to start once we get ourselves situated.
Yes. Think of it. When we started this, you and Lena, you and Lois, got quite uppity when you've heard of the first woman going to this place. Think of it, your name and just the first, whatever title you want, because this is the most craziest finding I think anyone's ever seen. So I want to change everything.
Indeed. Not entirely sure how we're going to make this verifiable, but we'll sort that out later.
Photograph. should
Plenty
be-
of work to be done.
Yes, well, I have some equipment. Maybe we can chip some of the stone off. Seems quite strange.
Of course, with great care. I wouldn't want to ruin any of it. If we could find anything that might be loose or easy
Yes.
to take away without damaging the place, that's always helpful.
Sure, we can
Indeed.
find something of that sort somewhere in this vast amount of stone.
But we actually
Certainly
saw
not at a loss.
a cave-in when we were checking out our one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, some of the tunnel that was connected to the rest of the areas had caved in. Some samples probably there.
Yes, I think taking some samples of the stone that makes up the city would not be a bad idea.
Indeed.
Oh, we'll put that on the list for things to tackle when we get ourselves organized.
All right. Hold on. Look.
Do a barrel roll!
Alright, so you land
they're
on
out
the
there, Keeper. While they're in there, Keeper, I want to. Hunter's going to check on. As he finishes fumbling around with the camera,
Yeah.
he and Olaf. I had Olaf there, so we
Yeah.
were both bumbling with this thing, trying to figure out.
Oh yeah, he has no idea. He's like, I just stand on the other end. I do not do the mechanism is very complicated. Dogs are simple.
So we walk over to where Starkweather's at the waterfall,
Mm-hmm.
and just want to check in with him, and I want to chip off a good chunk of the ice and
Okay.
put it in a bucket or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
And I want
easy.
to test and see if this is if it's potable. We'll get
So
back to
you're
it.
you're checking out the ice while you meet up with Starkweather and what's his face? The other photographer that's not French. Priestley. Priestley's there as well. And he's taking pictures. You see Starkweather has found this giant glass, marble, stone, hard to tell what material it's made out of. It looks like a giant eye. It is kind of stuck into a bit of the frozen river, but it's as tall as he is, and you can see because you're at the foot of one of these giant statues that it looks like it may have fallen from what used to be a head of a statue. And it's just a very glassy, purplish blue, kind of flecked with bits of gold. Kind of resembles a big, lidless blue eye. It's about a yard in diameter. And it looks extraordinarily heavy. Starkweather's looking like he wants to get it out of there, but you know he's not going to be able to get it out of there. I think it's got to weigh at least more than a ton, just due to its size. But he is looking at it, and you can tell he's already taken a bunch of photos with it.
This is all you come across so far, sir?
Well, all I've come across this place is insane. There is so much to explore here, but we have been focusing our efforts here at the waterfall. And of course, this beautiful, magnificent sculpture looks like an eyeball. I don't know what it is, but it's incredible. It looks like it's got little flecks of gold in there. Moving, shimmers. It's really interesting.
I'll walk a few feet
Mm-hmm.
and then walk a few feet. And then walk
Yeah, the
a
eye
few
doesn't
feet.
look like it's following you, but you can see the shimmers of gold embedded in whatever this material is.
Okay. Is it transparent or
It's
opaque?
translucent. Yeah.
Yeah, loose. Okay. Should I send Lena over to take a look at it?
Well, I don't think there's much she can do about it. I think her efforts are better focused in the more historical parts. I'm guessing that this part of this statue that was here. You can see it's very weathered kind of pillar that's not shaped like the rest of the pillars in the area, so maybe it was some kind of important figure at some point in time. Now, we've got enough photographs that I think she'll have plenty to look on, and I've taken a bit of a sample. You see he's got a piece of it chipped off. I'll bring to her to look at later. We're going to head off to some interesting other looking places around the area. But you find anything interesting so far? Well, aside from obviously everything.
Yeah, I'll fill him in on the what we've seen of the murals and briefly what everyone else reported in. And I will also tell him. Also got a weather report, sir, from our climatologist.
Good.
The weather at the pass. She says the wind is picking up, and so we won't be flying out anytime soon. But it did trigger my mind. Our campsites here are a little exposed, a little bit too exposed. I was thinking maybe if we could move into one of the buildings.
Yeah, there's several right off of the landing strip. We could easily, the fact we're practically backed up to one of them, so
Exactly.
it would be hard to move it a few feet over.
I want to suggest we break the tents down, we move them into the buildings, we have a more solid structure in case something happens.
Just in case a storm would happen. That sounds like a fine plan.
All right. And what location is he at now? The waterfall?
He is at the waterfall, yeah.
Where's my map at here? That's number
10.
10?
Mm-hmm.
So Starkweather, track number 10, waterfall.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
looked at
frozen.
5 and 10. Yeah. Oh, it's completely frozen.
Okay.
Kind of looks like Multnomah Falls in the winter, if you guys have seen that. It's real, but like 10 times bigger.
All right, and let's see. Where is he going? Oh,
He
Where are
is
you
going
going
to
to
head over to, let's see. He's going to head over to number 26 on his way back, which just looks like a bunch of interesting looking cliffs. So.
all right. Well, I see the plane coming back in, sir. I'm going to go see what they found, if anything. And we're going to move the tents into one of the buildings, and then we're going to...
Yeah, it's not very hard. So it doesn't take much time at all.
Probably scope out a few more of the buildings close to this area today, and see what else we can find. And we'll meet back up with you probably just before evening.
All right, sounds good. We will rendezvous around dinner time.
All right, stay safe, sir.
All right, you do as well. All right, so everybody else lands in the plane. What's the plane sound like when they land?
We don't crash. Keep that in mind, Hayden.
The wind's not bad inside the valley. It's just at the mountain pass, the peaks. It looks real bad. A bunch of clouds swirling around up there. Don't mind them.
We're fine.
You're fine. So is there any place you guys head off to? You're still about 4 hours till dinner, so plenty of time to explore another site or two if you'd like.
All right, so we've covered 8, which is the camp where we're going to be relocated. 9 is Moore's Refuge, where all the artifacts collected are going. Now, on this map, Keeper, this Baxter's map, that Moore's Refuge, is that? It looks like is that a cut into rock, or what is that?
It's a building. It's another building.
Okay, just a building.
It's just a little bit further away from the tents and camps and stuff. That way it doesn't get, you're not mixing work and sleep.
It's Baxter's drawing, so I'm having a little bit of trouble reading it there. We've covered 15, we've covered 23, we've covered 28, and we've covered 5, and 26 is about to be covered. So there is 4. There is 2, and I don't know if that's a 27, I think.
So special points of interest that they spotted when looking around was 18, 19, 16, 12, and 2.
All right.
Those are all very intriguing from the air.
Okay, 18 looks like it's kind of in close position. What was that?
That is a white obelisk.
Okay. And 27, what does that look like?
27.
I think that's a 27.
It looks like a hall. It's kind of similar to what you guys explored earlier.
And 2, okay, I know what 4 is, that pit, correct?
Yeah.
All right, how about 2, number 2? What does that
Number
look
2?
like?
That is kind of what looked like a coliseum.
All right, so we'll gather everyone back around and look
Buddy
at
up.
Baxter's map again, okay? Then we've got the rest of the day. Where do you want to go to first?
Well, personally, I'm rather interested in seeing what's in that white obelisk, if anything. If there's anything surrounding it. But I know, Sebastian, you expressed interest in that terrace area we saw, yes?
Yes, perhaps, but I do believe that your obelisk is probably a better bet after all. You are the archaeologist, and I believe we should follow your lead on this.
Well, I don't think we're going to swing and miss no matter what we try to aim for here.
Indeed.
All things considered, it'll all be discoveries.
Of course.
Well, if we must make one choice, and she's kind of looking at the map as well. Where are we closest to in the plaza, like number-wise right now? Between like the terrace or the obelisk?
They're about even, honestly, pretty much with the Z is in Plaza.
Now, I'm considering us right where the word plaza says.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right in the smack dab in the middle. So you
That's
can
where I'm
do,
considering.
again, like 3 groups of 2, or you can do 2 groups of 3. Kind of split up and divide and conquer, if you will. Or you could all go together.
I think
I suppose the
Olaf
first question
Olaf
is,
and
do we
I-
go together?
I'd certainly be happy to.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy splitting up or sticking together. As you said, we can't really swing and miss. So even no matter where we go, we're most likely going to find something interesting.
Indeed. Well, Baxter, I could certainly use a hand, an artistic hand, if we find anything more that might bear reproducing.
Yeah.
Anyone else is welcome to come along.
I'll pass that that camera to Baxter, just in case you can do something with it.
That was Baxter's photography.
Don't ask.
Yeah, I got nothing
Alright.
in it either.
Okay, just flares in emergency, and just be safe. Olaf and I are going to go see if we can track this trail that you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Yes, the trail.
This Dyer's trail. We're going to see if we can pick one up on that.
All
That
right.
sounds fascinating.
Be careful, obviously. I
Watch out
expect
for
we might find
steals.
more at the terrace, so I think we'll head that way for today. Check out the obelisk first thing in the morning, perhaps.
That sounds like a good idea.
All right, everyone fill up on coffee. If you need any more food, get to it.
Way ahead of
Very
you.
well.
All right. So, most people go into the terrace. To the terrace, not terrorist. One too many R's. So, you guys kind of walk up to it, and you can see that it is the building itself is large and it's big. It's a big building. It's about 30 yards out of the ice. You can see that a couple floors are still below the ice. Each floor is going to sit back from the one below, which is why it kind of tears upwards into basically an opposite coliseum. You can easily walk inside. You see that there's basically galleries that kind of stretch around each layer, about 170 yards wide, so very large. And each higher floor is about 15 yards set back from the one below it, so it kind of tears up. There's plenty of archways behind the galleries that lead to interior ramps. They're all ribbed, very textured interior ramps. There's no stairs. Still haven't seen stairs in this place. You see that there's twisting halls and very weirdly shaped rooms. Just kind of walking by, you can tell that there are hundreds of rooms in this structure, which also extend. You find a clearer spot in the ice once you're inside, about 4 floors below the ice. And you see that there's a section that's probably a bit broken and crumbling just from the weight alone. But the rooms come in all shapes. See that there's some are star-shaped, some are domes, some are rectangles, a couple are spheres. You just walk in the archway and it's a sphere, perfectly spherical shape of room. No seemingly logical plan or arrangement to the way these are laid out. About half of the building is impassable due to collapses and stuff. Give me spot hidden rolls.
Yeah. Very
I don't
fine.
know why mine rolled like that. That was weird.
Okie dokie. Anybody succeed?
I just failed. Goddamn
Just failed.
Hard
Okay.
success.
Hard
Lois
success.
is with
All
them,
right.
right?
Yes, Lois is. I don't know exactly her stats.
Lois!
39, pretty sure it's a success.
Yeah.
So,
I think I succeeded, but not by any grand amount.
with a 91?
Oh wait, no. Sorry, I was reading the wrong number.
It's okay.
Why
I definitely
did you
didn't.
correct yourself? Just kidding.
I was reading Crow's number.
Oh,
I can't
it's
read.
all good. It's fine. Reading's hard.
Mhm.
So,
That's why I art.
that's why we art.
I'm
Sebastian.
undercaffeinated.
You kind of see inside one of the corners on the floor here in an archway at the base of an ascending ramp, you see that there is a small twist of plain white paper. As if someone has been here before. It reminds you a lot of the trail marker that is in the Dyer manuscript. And having read the Dyer manuscript, this kind of aligns with the first place that they visited. So this is the first building they would have explored.
This is lining up too closely.
Yes, you're right.
It does lead me to be a little bit worried, after all what they found.
Mhm.
Oh, also,
Well,
you guys notice that that there's several murals on the wall here. These you don't need to even roll to decipher, as it's very obvious that they are scenes of lush trees and flowers growing wild between high towers. You see that there are also strangely carved soapstone statues of no recognizable form, very modern art in certain rooms here as well. It looks like you can recognize certain cityscapes having flown above it. You're like, we passed by that, but it looks like a jungle with buildings, and they're not in disrepair, and there's no ice. And so it's really interesting to see it kind of maybe how it looked in its prime.
Sure.
well, this could be depicting how it appeared in the distant past before all this. The earth was allegedly known to be much, much hotter then. Didn't really have holes, potentially. But
Yes.
I don't know what we're seeing here. This doesn't line up to anything I know other than what we've discovered with the Dyer script.
Yes, and the Dyer script seems to be more and more true. I'm concerned
Yes.
with what lies beyond this path. This
Yes.
figure mentioned at the end of the manuscript. That's
Well.
mainly what concerns me.
There's an easy solution to that.
He nods. I do still believe I heard the wind, the tick-a-lee over and over again when we were flying here.
Did you?
And seeing this, it's all matching up. It's all connecting.
Did you hear it again when we were up in the air, by any chance?
No, no, I didn't. Not that time. Maybe it's run its purpose. Sounds preposterous.
About you, Eden?
No, I never heard the wind at all. There was some sound, yes, but that was about it. But what Sebastian is saying isn't too far-fetched. We've come across notes that speak of awakenings, old one, do not open, strange singing in the wind. So,
Yes, and Professor Lake wrote about that song. Or at least what he described seems very similar.
yes.
So I'm inclined to believe you. Strange as it all sounds when you put it all together and say it out loud. But
I mean, we
there
haven't
are
really
things that
been...
lie beyond, but do we want to try and disturb them is the question.
Sure.
As
I mean, we haven't really been, and I haven't really thought about this, but none of us have really been checked since we've been here. We haven't had our blood tested, or perhaps there's some old disease going on with the snow, some old contagion that's making us go and hallucinate.
possibly, though, wouldn't have known anything like that in these conditions, but given everything else we found, I don't believe that's too far-fetched an idea. I could possibly help run some tests later, if that is a real concern.
I mean, what's more far-fetched, that we're succumb to some unknown bug, or we're actually hearing the wind call?
And seeing the goop monsters, yes.
Yes.
Wait, both of you?
Yes, I have begun to see the creature from which both Hayden and Hunter referred. It is rather friendly. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is an extension of their psyches interfering with my own, given the conditions, but I have begun to see it. It's a concern.
I see.
Do I need you to do the how many fingers am I holding up trick?
No, I already
I
understand.
don't know if that would help
Perfect.
altogether.
What's
What's Baxter's sanity hat, by the way? Just curious.
Currently at 46.
Okay, yeah, he can't see. He can't see goop yet.
Meaning
I'm very much in control of all of my mental faculties. I believe that I'm fine. I am just worn and tired from this expedition, and I've seen many things that have shocked me.
Of course.
Yes. Yes. It got strange the moment we hit that shipwreck.
Indeed it did. Indeed it did.
That's the case. I suggest we, perhaps we just go cautiously and, not push ourselves. There's plenty to explore. We'll have plenty to take back. We don't have to do everything.
Patience is a virtue, and the slow progress will no doubt do us wonders, but yes, we should be selective with where we pick, for of course Lexington's crew and the Germans find their own.
Yes. Well, let's gather what we can out of here, and we'll consider this place done for now.
Indeed.
agreed.
She's looking mildly concerned, which internally translates to extremely concerned.
Join us.
Once you account for the outward muting effect Lena's personality seems to have, she's real worried. She's really worried, and trying not to look like she's real worried. So I think she's going to gather probably a little bit of a sample of the stone if she can find some of it that's just not that's like come loose or something, and we'll start taking some notes about the statues and things. And are they distinctly made out of a different kind of material as like the rest of this place?
No.
Like okay, same sort of
Or
stuff.
the soapstone stars? Those are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no soapstone anywhere else that you've seen.
Okay.
All right, so back over to Hunter and Olaf. All right, so you guys are following pretty much from where you saw Sebastian and Hayden saw the stiff. Their trail marker, which you know by from reading the manuscript, was a bit further ahead. Kind of give me a tracking or survival check. See if you can determine where the next one's at.
And while we're on the edge of that pit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a look down and see if there's anything in there. You said tracking or survival.
Yep.
I'll do survival, and I'll let Olaf do tracking.
Okay.
So survival here. Good to go.
Perfect. All right. So you're pretty much able to see that you find a faint boot print. Looks like an explorer's boot, but it's covered with a thin layer of ice. So you're guessing it would be for when Dyer was here. It's very close to where the little trail marker was. And you follow it, and you kind of look for the next nearest area, which is a ramp kind of that kind of starts to curve down, but if again they find the rubble, you see an area though, kind of off to the side on a different ramp that looks like some of the rubble has been cleared a bit. And looking behind there, you can see that there's a cleared space in one of the buildings. It looks like you see several spent matches, many more broken ones, an empty ink bottle, a broken fountain pen, a used spent flashlight battery, a cardboard box, and you see some crumpled up pieces of paper.
All right. Does this look like a quarry? You said the ramp slopes down into it.
No, it doesn't look like a quarry. It's a perfectly circular area, which is what makes you think it's not a quarry. It looks more like just like a ramp heading down. You see a couple tunnels coming off of it. There is the ramp that you found the trail marker on was obscured by rubble a bit, but there is another one not far at all that does continue to go down into a little tunnel. And you see another little piece of white paper tucked in down there.
Right, yeah, just trying to figure out what this place served, what kind of a purpose, something to relate to. But yeah, we'll grab that piece of paper there. And
Okay.
do we see? You said we saw one boot print.
Yep.
Not two boot prints like somebody's walking.
There's not a lot of snow on the inside of this area. So it's like there's a thin layer of ice just from the moisture in the air, kind of coating everything, and it's even coated the boot print itself. So it looks like someone just stepped in the snow, and then there wasn't much snow anywhere else to leave a trail.
All right, we got that paper then.
All right, so you pick up. There's some crumpled pieces of paper on the floor. I pick one of them up. There's also the trail marker you see down the next ramp leading down.
Oh yeah, we'll look at the pieces of paper.
Okay, if you unravel them, it's got a bunch of dots on it in ink.
Does it look like what I've seen on those markers?
It looks very similar. The dots are in a different pattern, but yes, the size and shape of the dots are very similar.
They all look like the same pattern to me. I have no idea what they mean. Okay, so I'll grab all of them up there and stuff them in a good secure pocket.
Okay.
And I'll take them back to Lena or somebody.
Yeah, Olaf will shove one in his pocket for later.
And
do you go down the other ramp?
Yeah, there's nothing. Does it look like anyone was trying to start a fire here? Is there any signs of
Maybe.
food?
You don't see signs of food. You do see fragments of what looks like cut, like with scissors. Like someone taking scissors and cut a few pieces of cloth or fur. Maybe someone was trying to get tinder or kind of get the stuff to make a fire. There's a lot of flammable things here, but no sign of a fire here.
All right. Yeah, so if we spot the next one, then we'll go check that out.
Okay, so this one is a ramp that leads down and into a bit of a tunnel. You are going to need, once you get, the archway is about 6 yards high and 6 yards wide, so it's a fairly wide space. So light does kind of go in for a decent bit, but you will have to click on your flashlights.
All right, so flashlight and hand-on pistol.
Okay, give me a listen check.
Mm-hmm. Listen, all right, so that's not... All right, let's see what we do here. 30, see, 38, 35. I will spend 3 points of luck.
Okay.
And make that a success. So if we're 45, 44, okay.
Cool beans. So you're walking down this spiral ramp. You notice that there's no side doors in this corridor or any other archways or carvings. It's very plain, very smooth. And you see that it opens up into a large chamber in front of you. And you kind of listen close before entering. And you hear rustling of feathers and like a squawk.
Olaf, did you hear that?
I did. It sounded like a bird.
All right. 1, I just wanted to make sure I'm not the only one hearing it. 2, how the hell did a bird get here?
Yeah, maybe it's a penguin.
Do penguins have feathers? I don't think penguins have feathers.
All birds have feathers. Penguin feathers are very sleek.
Are they? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I've had to pluck them. They do not taste good. Don't eat penguin. If you have to choose between penguin or seal, choose seal.
Choose seal. Got it.
Yeah. Penguin is disgusting.
So, shining the 2 flashlights around, what can we make of this room and how far can we see?
All right. So this room, it's about 36 yards in diameter, about 18 yards high. And it's in a perfect little hemisphere with a couple of smaller tunnels kind of going off of it. A couple of them are caved in, so it looks like there's one main passage that kind of keeps, like a side tunnel that keeps going. And you see inside a 5-foot-tall albino penguin.
What the hell is that? And I will probably unholster my pistol at that. I won't aim it, but I'll just...
And as you kind of look in, like you shine your flashlight, you saw it, and it like squawks and looks at you, and it's like you hear the rustle of feathers as it kind of moves its wings up, and you see that there are a few others in here as well. It appears to be maybe a small family of giant albino penguins.
5 foot tall.
Yeah, giant albino penguins. They're not regular size.
What do they do when they see us?
They appear startled, and they start to kind of waddle towards the tunnel. They don't move very fast because they're penguins on land, but you see them kind of, like, once they hit, like, one of them hits the tunnel, just, whoop, like, belly slides down further in.
Do they all go?
They're all heading in that direction. Like, one was real chicken, and he penguined out first, but the others are kind of, like, cautiously waddling that way.
All right, I'll look at Olaf. Should we?
I mean, what are penguins doing here? Exactly. I am intrigued. So as you if you enter the room, they all startle and slide down the ramp.
So yeah, we'll approach the ramp and just shine the lights down to look to see if they saw what we could see down the ramp they slid down.
It looks like kind of like the ramp you came down. It just spirals down a little bit.
Is it covered with ice?
This one,
It's smooth.
it's not covered with ice. You see that there appears to be one side of it that appears to be more well worn and doesn't have the ridges carved into it. And that's like the inner circle. That's what the penguins like slid down, basically. But the rest of it is a ridged ramp, just like all the others you've seen so far.
All right, again, I'll look at Olaf. What do you think? Should we?
My curiosity is piqued. But I think we should be quiet.
So I'll reholster my pistol and hold the light, and then we're going to try to, bracing each other, we're going to try to go down this tunnel without slipping and sliding quietly.
Yeah. It's, roll me a stealth check if you're going to try to go quietly.
As much stealth as we can muster here.
Yeah. Olaf's pretty sneaky. He's a big stealthy guy. Yeah.
Not one of my fortes.
Yeah, you never know.
Let's see. Do I want to eat? No, I'm going to hold on to that. Oops, wrong one. All right, so let's see. Wait a minute. All right, I will spend 7 points of luck and make that a success.
Excellent. So you two are fairly quiet as you cautiously sneak down these ramps. And you notice that there's a few carvings, deep grooves into the wall here. Looks almost as if just cracks had formed. They might be cracks, they might be deep grooves, might be carvings. It's kind of hard to say with just the light.
Are in the hall?
Yeah, in the hall, like on the sides.
Hall going down? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let me find the number you're going to. All right, so you go down this for a little bit. You can hear the penguins kind of squawking in front of you, but their squawking has turned from less like agitated, kind of just like the chirps that penguins make when they think they're in the clear, like the kinds you saw on the ice shelf above, just a slightly deeper pitch because they're bigger. It's you see that there are another opening. It looks like it opens up a bit. You've been traveling down this ramp for about 20 minutes, and you can kind of smell something. And also, the air is a bit warmer down here.
Okay.
It's not as cold. The air is noticeably warmer, and you can kind of smells like, oh yeah, penguin poop. Maybe there's a big nest of them down here, and it opens up, and you see that this passage gives you access to a large ledge, and you kind of shine your lights out. Olaf actually brings out an extra one, and you can see that you are staring out over a dark and humid gulf of an underground sea. You kind of get up to the edge of the ledge, and you can see that it is about 700 feet above. You can kind of see it because there's a slight. You can kind of see a slight glow here and there from what you would assume would be kind of dinoflagellates or something as water is disturbed beneath you. You can see it's about 700 feet below you. Is there a beach? You can hear just hundreds of penguins down there, and occasionally the bark of a seal. The cavern of the ceiling is just huge, and it's even 100 feet higher than the ledge. You can smell a lot of penguins. It's very potent. And it's just a bit mind-boggling as you're about 500 miles from the nearest coast and about 3 miles above sea level, which
right. Yeah, well, we're in the mountains.
Thick. Yeah. You don't see any ramps or exits that you guys would fit in. You notice that there's like a tunnel that appears to have a lot of traffic that the penguins apparently used to kind of belly up and slide down. But you don't see a way for you two to get down there unless you wanted to climb the cliff.
700 feet?
Yeah.
I don't think we have that much gear.
Yeah, you'd have to go back to the camp and get some gear. You do see, though, near, like, at the edge of your vision with a flashlight range, you notice the penguins went down a tunnel. A seal. This is an albino seal as well, but if you get a little closer, as Olaf's like, look, seal, much better meat. You guys you sneak up because you're very quiet. Doesn't appear to have noticed you at all. You notice that the seal is completely eyeless.
He's on the ledge with us.
Yeah.
Okay. That seal doesn't have any eyes.
It does not.
Does it look like it's... you said it doesn't hear us, doesn't sense us or anything. Yeah.
No, it didn't roll very well on its listen check because it can't spot hidden. So, sorry.
Well,
But it's a big seal. It's one of the bigger seals you've seen too, up here, or period. It's a big seal and it's completely eyeless. Being a well-traveled person, you do realize that a lot of creatures who live in complete and total darkness don't have eyes. So maybe this kind of seal has adapted to living in this ocean. Maybe all the seals down here are eyeless.
yeah. And it also tells me that there's got to be some kind of good food source down there.
Mm-hmm. Fish, probably.
Yeah. Well, Olaf, yesterday I would have said this is absolutely amazing. Now I don't know what to say.
My mind is blown. But he succeeded on the sanity check, so he's actually pretty okay.
I say we put a pin in this one and let's come back to it at another date.
Agreed. This is very strange.
Let's head back to the camp. We need to finish
Should
moving
we-
out the rest of the equipments into the buildings and make it more secure before our energy runs out today.
So you guys head up.
Yeah, we'll turn around and then head back.
Yeah, there's a couple more penguins in the room, like the big room you were in on the way up, and they squawk and kind of slip down a hole. Unless you try to catch one of them, but they squawk and waddle away.
How many total exits do we see from that main room?
About 3 or 4 seal in, or about that seal sized. The seals were like way bigger, but penguin sized that they could squeeze through.
Okay. So there's the one large one that we walked down, and then the smaller
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah, a couple smaller ones.
We'll just shine a light down a couple of the smaller ones there just to see
Penguin poop.
what it looks like. That's okay. Yeah, let's head back.
All right, so you head back, and the others actually get back before Hunter and Olaf did, as they lost a bit of track of time, as it's easy to do underground, especially seeing the things that they were seeing. So you all get back, and about an hour later, Hunter and Olaf get back.
Glad to see everyone's safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
You as well.
Yeah.
Did you find anything of note?
Hell yeah.
Sounds
Do
promising.
we have any what is your biology skills there, Lena?
Well, apart from what little I could pry out of Professor Lake, not much, I'm afraid.
I'm decent.
We found 5-foot-tall penguins, albino.
She spits
And
the
I
coffee
mean-
she was drinking.
I'm waiting for the rest of the
What?
5
Are you
Five.
serious?
That's about the average height. Some were a little taller, some were a little shorter. Yeah.
Yeah, how tall is Lena and Lois?
I don't know how tall Lois is, but
Listen, Hunter's 5'9", so that's almost his.
Yeah,
He's just got
there's a couple
more.
that were probably as tall as you, but not nearby.
Lena's probably like a whole 5'2".
I know.
Wrong 5'2".
Yeah,
Tiny.
and that's not all. There's an underground sea down there.
That
Oh my.
explain the seals.
Couldn't see the other side of it. But
Wow.
it's about a 700-foot or so drop down to it.
Wow. I also don't know if we are prepared for a sea voyage beneath the city.
No.
Certainly not in this place.
No.
Certainly.
Now, the penguins had a couple of different paths that we might be able to use. But it's going to be very risky.
Why are we using the paddles?
Using the what?
Why are we using the paths?
There were some tunnels that the seals were using. We followed the trail, found a couple more markers. Which reminds me, I'll take out all the pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And Olaf got them all together and passed those to Lena. We found this. And then the tunnel led into a large, kind of a hemisphere room. And from this room, there were a number of those 5-foot-tall penguins, albino penguins. They exited into these various little tunnels that their size could probably only fit down. But there was one large one that human size were able to go down. And we followed it to this ledge. And it just opened it up into this huge, tremendously massive cavern with this underground sea, this lake, this ocean, whatever it is.
Big seal.
Interesting.
Nice.
Well, I suppose that does explain how they got up here, or where they came from, at least.
Yeah, Sebastian mentioned a seal earlier, so that's one puzzle we can put a piece in. What did you
went
find?
into?
Well,
She sort of explains the details of this terrace and the way it seemed to, according to her knowledge, potentially depict the way this place might have appeared in the past as a vast jungle, and probably launches into a mini lecture about pre-Ice Age Antarctica, or what they may have suspected it was like at the time, etc., science and history.
in any case, it's interesting, but I took a few samples of the stone there, and that's more or less where we ended, although Sebastian seems a bit concerned about the resemblance it has to the diet papers. I'm inclined to agree. We should
Uncanny evil.
proceed carefully as we discover
Indeed.
more.
I agree with you. It's all just very strange, but I suppose any dead, lost civilization is gonna be eerie.
Yes, that does make sense, actually.
Well, at first glance, it seems the trail goes down towards this sea, this underground lake here thing, whatever it is. Only problem is it's not going to be easy to follow it, I don't think. Excuse me.
I mean, I don't think we're built for spelunking.
I don't imagine we've got quite enough equipment to just arbitrarily choose to go down there.
Yeah.
Not for that amount, no. We've got a bit. I mean,
Perhaps on our next return trip.
if like I mentioned earlier, if you were able to go back and get more supplies, we may be able to have enough.
Maybe in a few days when the weather clears up.
Yes, we'll mark it as a point of interest and plan to revisit it, perhaps. Sounds fascinating that there's animals down there. That you said the penguins were albino.
Along with a huge
Any other
seal,
races?
also albino, and no eyes.
What?
Well, if they've been underground for that long,
Right.
or however long they've lived, that's a likely kind of. Nothing too unusual about that.
Seals without eyes.
Well,
Like it was smooth.
this is the little bit that Professor Lake was more than happy to explain to me. But creatures that evolve in darkness, very, very deep down, can indeed. They have no need of sight because it's completely dark down there. They develop other senses or other ways to get around, so they stop being born with eyes eventually.
It's very unsettling.
It's been down there for quite a long time now.
Yes.
I mean,
Many, many generations of evolution. It's not unlikely, given how old this place is.
yes, but if they're getting a source of food, one would suggest that there was another way in and out.
Or
fresh.
perhaps they've lived down there and it's got its own ecosystem. I'm not a biologist, but it's a reasonable assumption based on what I know.
Could well
Yeah,
be.
it's true.
Makes sense.
Nature
One
is a
thing
very,
is-
very strange thing, honestly.
Certainly is.
Well,
Stranger
tomorrow
than fiction.
we'll look for more of this trail to see if it might lead anywhere else. But right now, it seems to indicate that we need to go down if we want to follow the trail.
I see.
Yes.
Of course.
Now
I
that we
guess the
found a
question
food
really is, do we
source,
want to-
well, I mentioned that because now that if there is a solid food source, then it's possible maybe there's some survivors here
I-
from
Maybe,
the
but
previous
that-
expedition.
That is assuming that it is safe to eat. We do not know how these things evolved or how they will act or react to our bodies when we consume them. I don't know if no-eyed seal is a staple diet for us.
Well, we did find some bones in that pit, remember?
Yes, and yet no people.
There's the weather conditions to consider as well.
Yeah, if it does get rough up here, underground, got no problem.
Yes.
I suppose you've got a point.
Aside from eyeless seals and 5-foot penguins, you mean?
Well,
And whatever else is down there.
Indeed.
Whatever else is
Totally
down
fine.
there. So Hunter's going to take that ice chunk he got in the bucket from the,
Yep.
and I'm going to melt that,
Okay.
and I'm going to test it to see if it's potable.
Seems to be.
You know, we'll boil it, make sure that it's good, and it probably won't take long to get cooled down back here. So,
Not at all.
Doc,
Play
watch
and
over
snow.
me. If I don't wake up in the morning, don't drink the water.
is that really how you want to test that?
This is how we've tested it for many times.
So we
It
don't
ceases
really
to
have any
amaze me how
animals.
you take your life into your hands like that.
So I'll drink a half a cup of water, just to wait around to see what happens.
I hope my gem theory wasn't true.
Let us
So do I.
find out.
All right, Lena, do you look at those dots on the pieces of paper?
Yeah, the paper.
Sure, why not?
Give me a power check.
Okay. Might as well do something to risk my sanity around here.
That is a success.
Okay, so with a success. Also, did I give you points to Cthulhu Mythos skill after you had your thingy thing? I think I did.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, give me that roll as well.
Okay.
So with a point, does that put me at like a 10 or just a 1?
I'll put you
Or-
at 5 for what you've researched. Okay, so you're looking at the dots, and it's kind of like before, where they kind of start to move and swirl, but you pull yourself out of it. Unless you want to take another look and let it let it really absorb.
I think she's kind of gonna shake out of it and briefly like touch the spot where she's pretty sure she got a concussion earlier during their much earlier plane ride.
I think I'm going to take these and take some time to study them against what we've already discovered. All right?
Sounds like a brilliant idea.
Absolutely.
Okie dokie.
She's
So everyone
gonna
gets dinner.
Hang on to those for later.
Yeah, everyone gets dinner and is able to retire to the sleeping tents. It doesn't make sense as much to have watches posted around outside because of the amount of oxygen it takes to fill the sleeping tents. Everyone is supposed to sleep at the same time, but there is someone who is awake, but just posted on the inside of the door of the sleeping tent, especially now that you're in a building. It's pretty much at the entrance.
That's another reason I wanted to put us inside a more enclosed space to help
Yeah.
save that.
Alrighty, so everyone, what is everyone doing as they settle down in their oxygen tents for the night?
I imagine Baxter just like from the expedition, he's just doing touch-ups, like adding more details to it so it looks more presentable than what he had.
Alright.
Hayden is going to get his bag
Mm-hmm.
that has the radio thing in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to turn it on.
Put the little component back. It doesn't have any power, as it didn't have power beforehand. But you put the component back and you don't see any effect.
Yeah, I didn't last time. We needed dogs were making noise.
Yeah,
I just do that
We
just to
don't-
like.
dogs out here this time.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So you don't notice any effect. Do you leave it on, or do you pull the component back out once you're done fiddling with it?
I look at it again, because this thing is curious to me, and I think I kind of like sleep next to it, kind of like it's almost like a security blanket, I guess.
Sure. Goop sits on top of it.
My friends.
Oh. Hi. What about Sebastian?
I believe it is rather sort of rough day, and given sort of how much sanity he's lost for one, he's going to settle for a while and have a drink and a think and sort of try and recover from his rather shaking day, given he saw the vision that his dying wife explained so vividly in front of him today. And I think we'd probably go for a short stroll, just on the kind of brink of the camp, and just sort of have
Okay.
a bit of a look around while it's quieter and there's not as much sort of...
Right before it's called to go to sleep. Nice.
Essentially.
All right.
I think
And Lena.
Lena is comparing all the notes she has and all the dots that she's collected. And
Okay.
is essentially trying to see if she can like crack this code decipher, determine if there's a pattern to this possible written
All right.
language.
So you're going to be studying this.
Yep.
Your natural instinct is once the dots kind of start to swirl is to jerk away. Do you fight that instinct?
I think initially, she like kind of gives herself a break, like, oh, my eyes are bothering me a bit. But after a while, if she's not making any headway trying to decipher them, she's going to sort of stick to her guns.
Okay. So, you let yourself get pulled into it. Kind of just, nope, not gonna look away, not gonna look away. You can see them kind of swirl again, and some of them, the words start to make sense. Like, you're like, that says tree. That's not sure what that says. And the papers that were presented to you today, you were able to figure out that it's just repeatedly asking what happened when the trees died. What happened when the trees died? And you're able to tell that this is indeed a language. And at the cost of 1d10 sanity, you can get 25 points into Elder Cipher language.
Okay. Let's, sure.
Alright, do you want to roll the d10 or shall I?
My luck is frightening, so yeah, I'm gonna YOLO it and see what happens.
Okay.
Roll it.
This
Roll
way you
it.
go crazy.
Where did my D10 go? Come back.
Come back, d10.
Not the same as anymore.
Alright. So, with a loss of more than 5 points at once, you do get a temporary insanity, and your temporary insanity is just to read as much of this as you can. If you find a sample of this writing, you're gonna try to spend the time to figure out what it says.
Gimme.
All right.
But you now have 25% in Elder Cipher speak, as you've been studying it over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So
I learned a
you
language.
finally found enough samples to get it down to a certain extent.
Okay.
So
Ancient dead language, yeah.
yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's a dead language, but
Who needs Latin when you can learn Elder Cipher?
it's brilliant. So everyone
Just making
goes
fun,
to
that's
sleep.
all.
Lena goes to sleep later than everyone else. She's got you're not allowed to do kerosene lanterns and stuff inside of the tent because of oxygen, but you are allowed to use your flashlight a little bit. So, because that doesn't eat up anything. So you kind of use a little bit of the battery and you're reading up late. And you're like, okay, I'll turn it off. So everyone has pleasant dreams. But Hunter, you have, can you give me a power check while you're sleeping there?
Power check.
Yeah.
Power check out of the blue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you drank the water, so I don't know if it's that out of the blue.
I'm trying the Kool-Aid.
All right, let's see. Let me get go.
Soon we're gonna be the only normal people. Goop.
That's good. Out of 40.
Okay, so you succeed. That's good. So you have some weird dreams. It's like you're in this city when it's not abandoned. You're kind of walking around when it's practically a jungle. There is hot and humid. The buildings are in perfect condition. You don't see anybody though, but you see in the distance, look over some more of the mountains, over at the very far edge of your vision, a tower looming up with clouds swirling it and lightning striking it, almost like a lightning tower or a giant lightning rod. You're in this warm, fertile valley surrounded by mountains, and you kind of just see that in the distance, and you kind of look at it a bit, and then you get distracted by some more of the jungle life around you. There's giant flowers that are the size of you. There are these thick jungle tree trunks practically, but they're not trees because there's no bark. It's almost like just a giant plant. It's a nice soft stem that curves out into big flowing branches and huge leaves, and you kind of get lost in there for a little bit before you wake up and you realize how cold it is. You were sweating almost a little bit, which means you have to change your snowsuit, but it just seemed so hot, so real. And then you woke up and, no wait, this is real.
Is my balloon hovering nearby anywhere? I still see it?
Yep. It's got little Z's coming off of it.
Wake up!
Well, what's going on?
What was that? I just had a dream.
Well, you were asleep.
Do you have anything to do with
Humans
that?
do tend to dream when they're asleep. That is fairly common.
Did you have anything to do with that?
No, I don't dream. I can't dream.
It doesn't make sense. You can talk.
That doesn't mean I can dream. Shoggoths don't dream either.
What?
I said Shoggoths don't dream either.
What the hell is that?
Oh, you'll find out.
Is it still, is it time to wake up, or do I...
You woke up, it's about time to wake up. You woke up about like 20 minutes early.
All right, yeah, I'll, yeah, whatever. I'll get up and do a little bit of light PT, nothing serious, because we're up higher at a higher elevation, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the building.
Yep.
Just wait for everyone else to wake up.
Well, mostly a lot of stretching, because you don't want to get,
Yeah.
because you're wearing the big suits all the time, so...
Yeah, no calisthenics.
Yeah, you don't want to get sweaty. You have to change all your snow gear. Lena, while you're asleep, you also have a bit of a dream. But your dream is... it's not too far off from the last time. You don't remember most of it when you wake up, except you remember the tower. The words the tower kind of echo in your head as you wake up.
Mm-hmm. I think she's probably the last to wake up too, after spending a while reading, staying up late reading.
Yeah. Everyone has a lovely, pleasant night's sleep. You slept like rocks. It was great.
They'll help get us some coffee going and some breakfast started, and get Starkweather and Moore up and see what they have planned for the day.
Moore actually, he accidentally tore part of his snowsuit yesterday when he was working on like getting a specimen loaded up into a bucket, and he's a bit of frostbite, so he's going to be taking it easy today. He's got another snowsuit replacement, and Dr. Green has bandaged him up, but he's going to be taking it easy and just staying at the specimen table today rather than gathering specimens and bringing them back. So,
does he carry any weapons?
He carries a knife.
Okay. How about the doctor?
Dr. Green, he has a pistol on him.
Okay. All right. Good. How did everyone sleep?
Oh, I slept quite fine. And Starkweather gets a big cup of coffee, chugs it, and then heads outside. He's already ready. He kind of grabs the photographer and he grabs his mug to go and screws it on hurriedly as Starkweather's rearing to go.
Yep.
Well, he seems energetic as always.
You ain't seen the half of it.
I can believe it. I think I need a coffee.
You should actually be with him when he's discovered something.
I'll take your word for that. I should drop a few specimens off at the table and then Who's up for investigating that obelisk today? Anyone?
Good. Yes, I'm down for that.
Definitely.
You're right. You seem
yes.
tired.
Oh, well, spent a good number of hours staying up, trying to sort out the cipher, or whatever it is, the dot language. Made some good progress as well. It's really fascinating.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So,
these papers that you gave me, Hunter, it just sort of said the same thing over and over for the most part. What happened when the trees died? Assuming, of course, I understood it correctly.
you can read
That's
it
the
now?
question. Well, it didn't happen. Well, it did happen overnight, but it took some time to study it.
And Hunter's just amazed at your intelligence.
Scientist man.
It took a while. In any case, that's as much as I was able to uncover out of those papers. I'll have to get more samples and study it more to be sure I'm correct and to uncover any others. But we have a whole
What
city that's
happened
probably
when-
full of it.
What happened when the trees died?
Yes.
Strange thing to write.
Phrased as a question, near as I could grasp from the way the writing works.
What happened or what happens?
What happened, right?
What happened? Past tense.
Yes. What would you write that at that time? How old is the paper? Did you know in your studies?
Was I able to, sort out age of this? Is this something that's discernible?
From the papers,
Mm-hmm.
the papers look about same age as all the papers at Percival Lakes Camp. About 3 years old.
Neat.
Considering
Right,
it's paper and it's down here, it's a safe bet that it came from the last expedition.
Sebastian, you with us yet?
Yes.
Hand Sebastian some coffee. Trees. Yeah, this is not a coincidence. I had a dream last night, and I point to the thing floating over me. This can confirm it.
No one else can see it.
Well,
And in my mind, everyone can see it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
all
He points to like a spot over his shoulder.
Hunch.
What are you talking about, Hunter?
what's confirmed it?
Never mind. I had a dream, and I was in a jungle, and it was unlike any other jungle that I'd been in. The trees were huge, but they didn't have any bark on them. It was just like a, I don't know, rubber, a solid plant or something. And it was hot, sweltering hot. Hotter than the Amazon. It's pretty damn hot. And I was just right in the middle of this whole forest. But off in the distance, it seemed like the entire place was surrounded by mountains. But way off in the distance, there was this one kind of tower thing. Rock, mountain peak. I'm not sure.
Wait, you said tower thing?
Yeah, tower. It's like getting struck by lightning or something like that.
Sort of like the one that we wish to see. He says, looking over to Lena, mainly.
Is it... It's around here? Do you think you could spot it if we looked around out here?
That's a good idea. walk outside hurriedly
Mm-hmm.
and trying to catch trying to hold the image that I had in my dream last night. I'm going to go out to the middle of the plaza here and where I've got a good view of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can match up anything.
Lena will follow shortly behind.
More clouds have formed since the day before, and you can't see anything too far away.
No, I don't recognize anything. I do see more clouds forming, so that's something we might
Probably blocking the way.
prepare for. Lois,
Yes.
clouds.
Yes, they are thankfully not cumulonimbus, so we don't have to worry about thunderstorms.
Sure. I believe you.
Any idea if they'll clear up soon?
Let me see.
Where the powers go?
It's gonna take me some time to see if I can figure that out. They're forming very quickly, which makes me think they'll clear out quickly as well, but I think I'll need to spend a few hours today just kind of monitoring their movements.
Of course, that's probably wise, all things considered. We really should keep an eye on the weather. Thank you, Lois.
Should.
No problem.
So have you heard something about a tower in any of those, that book, that journal?
More like in dreams of my own, actually. Last night as well. I heard it again. It's like... This is going to sound crazy. Just,
No, it
it's a
won't.
dream, so they tend to be that way.
Not anymore.
Trust me, I'm sure I've heard worse dreams.
I mean, you had Mr.
Well,
Sleaze as a client.
Ooh.
You dreamt of Mr. Sleaze, Lena? Wow, okay.
No.
We really should have brought him.
Yeah, whoever dies could have played him, and that would have been amazing.
Could we have
Anyway.
used him as a insanity magnet? Because that would have probably been helpful. Just keep feeding him laudanum, and it'd be fine.
But enough.
Well, it's almost as if... It's as if I'm dreaming that Professor Lake is trying to speak to me from here somewhere. The end of the first time I dreamt about him in the expedition here, I just remembered waking up to the words, meet me at the tower, find me at the tower. And I sort of... last night's dream is not clear, but that echoed again. Something about a tower.
I believe perhaps we should check the tower today. The one that we know of at the very least. See what we can find there.
Yes,
Obelisk is a
there's an
tower-like
obelisk, right?
object.
Yes.
Yes.
The three tallest buildings in the area is an obelisk, the ice cream cone, kind of twirly building, and a pyramid, a very large black pyramid.
Got three
Hunter does a quick
decidedly
review.
tall structures here.
Indeed.
I think I'll join you today. Olaf, what about you?
I am good whatever.
Come along.
All right.
Now then. So, is the obelisk this unusual structure? Or this pyramid?
How about we go to your thing today?
Right, you lead the way.
Alright. Well, we'll start with the obelisk. It's closest out of the bunch, I think.
All right. As you guys start heading off to the obelisk, Professor Moore approaches you. He's got his arm doubly bundled up, the one that has the frostbite. He goes, "Have you all seen Dr. Green this morning?"
No, I'm afraid not.
Was
All
it
right,
never
then
more?
Certainly.
I saw him at breakfast, but haven't seen him in the past couple hours. Maybe he went off with Mr. Starkweather. caught up.
So that
If you happen to see him about, just let him. No, I just wanted him to look at these notes I brought with me.
How's the
I'm
arm,
sure
sir?
he'll turn up.
Right.
what are the notes?
The arm-
by chance?
How's the
The
arm,
arm is
sir?
good. It should be just fine, and it'll heal in a day or two.
You let me know if you need anything.
Will do. Bring back anything exciting that you find.
Of course, we're going to be headed to the obelisk today to see what we can find there.
Fascinating thing that. And he kind of points over to it because you can just see the top of it. Yes, do let
Be
me
sure
know.
to bring back any good samples, and I'll deposit them
Please.
at the specimen table.
Thank you, Miss Stoddard. Yes. And he goes off to keep organizing and labeling and sampling things. Something interesting that you guys notice on your way there is you find a rather intact building. It's kind of nestled between two other buildings, but maybe like a house type structure, as it's smaller, only has a couple of bedrooms. But a couple of things strike you as very interesting. There is a set of petrified wooden doors that are about 12 feet tall by 4 feet wide. Each door, it's like two of them, open up all Aragorn style, and shutters as well. They have beautiful carvings of vines and flowers all over them. Lena, give me an archaeology check as you see these.
This is
I'll
the
give you a
first one
plus.
we've seen, right?
Yeah, this is the first one you've seen.
Kill it.
All right. So what strikes you the most interesting about these wooden doors and shutters is that they're softwood, like something more like akin to pine or some other type of material. It's not a hardwood like oak, which should not have been able to grow at this altitude, even since before the dinosaurs. So that strikes you as interesting. Also, you notice that if you kind of move the shutters aside, that there is glass there, mica glazed glass still in the windows here, and it's not in a wooden frame. It looks like they are set into the stone itself, but you don't even see any gaps. This was impeccably and precisely measured and crafted before being installed here. So that kind of strikes you as interesting on your way down to go see the obelisk.
What's the carving on the door? Is it a form or is it just fancy carving?
Just fancy carving. It's flowers and vines, mostly. Large, but you recognize one of the flowers as one of the large. It looks to be an exaggeration, like, oh, look at this big old flower and these vines in the door, but from your dream it looks just like the actual size of the flowers and vines you saw crawling up some of the towers and buildings in the city.
Baxter, take a look at this closely.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell if this is the same style that was done on those murals we saw on the wall? Was the same process used to carve this door as it was to carve in the stone?
Baxter just take out his sketchbook and just kind of
Mhm.
send it
Compares
to
it.
both him and Hunter to see.
It's not that difficult. You study those for a while. It appears to be a very similar style. Maybe not exact. This one looks, but very, very similar in style. Very precise, intricate carvings. That almost looks machine tooled, but not quite.
See, it's pretty close, but it's not exact. As if a way to put it into terms. Think of an artist trying to copy another artist, but you can't completely get it exact in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Possible.
Like it kind of reminds you of how some Lena as well, of how certain art styles compared to Baxter sketches and charcoal rubbings, like Greeks, a lot of their art style looked similar to ancient Greek and ancient Rome, but there are slight variations depending on the artist. This reminds you a lot of that. So you guess same time period, but maybe different artist.
Mm-hmm.
That
She'd
plan-
also remark on the oddity of the materials and just how mechanically perfect everything seems to be. And how unlikely that
Strange.
seems.
Yes, it seems very strange. Is there? Can I push the door open?
It's very heavy, but you are able to push it open.
I do so.
All right. So you push it open, and
Flashlight.
It's very thick. It's about 8 inches thick. The wood is. You couldn't tell once you opened it up. You flashlight it up. Thankfully, it's also light outside all the time because it's just,
Antarctica.
That's just, yeah, it's Antarctica and Antarctica. Let's see here. I have a thing for this. So, inside, you actually see it's fairly intact. It's got some more carvings on the inside, wall carvings, and this one has actually, you see a couple remnants of what may have been at one point furniture. They're wood, petrified wood as well, but they're in odd shapes. It's kind of like, if you can see legs as if it's to balance weights. That's how you can tell it's furniture, but very curving, swooping, organic designs. Doesn't look terribly comfortable, but it looks like maybe it was a divan or a couch at some point.
Strange.
Okay.
It's about 12 feet long, about 4 feet wide.
Do you
What are the
need-
dimensions of this room, this building, interior?
There are 2 rooms in here. It looks like this one is kind of domed, and about 12 yards by 10 yards, and the other room is a bit smaller, and it's domed in the opposite direction, so the floor is curved, but the ceiling is flat. But slightly smaller, about half the size.
Wow.
Hmm.
I think this is the strangest thing I've seen while I'm here.
Certainly unusual.
Lena, do you need any pieces of that?
I expect Professor Moore might like a few samples to come back, so give me just a moment.
She's gonna bust out her archaeology tools and
Yeah, just kind of
start taking a little
a piece of wood, piece of petrified wood.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not hard to do.
knock off a little sample.
Yep. Blink. All right, you carry on to the obelisk.
Yeah.
All right.
Onward.
So not too far from you, this house that you found that was surprisingly intact. Probably because of the surrounding buildings. The buildings around it were much larger, so you imagine that's why it didn't get the brunt of the wind or snow or whatever. You see that it is very, very white. It's whiter than you thought it was, kind of looking at the distance, probably because of the haze in the air. But it is about 2 yards across at the base. You don't see any inscriptions on it, but its edges, it's weathered extraordinarily well, as you don't see any pitting on it from things being blown around, which a lot of the other buildings show, and the edges are still almost as sharp as probably when they were originally carved. They're very precise. You don't see any rounding or anything, and you don't recognize the stone that it's made out of.
All right. No dots.
It's about 7 yards out of the ice. You don't see any dots.
Okay.
But give me spot hiddens.
Sure.
Okay. Let me know if anybody succeeds.
Hard success.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else?
I got 100.
So no. All right.
95.
I'm right behind
I
you.
got the biggest number. That means I win.
That's definitely.
It sounds like a lot of my players then when we play mini golf.
I think Hayden has just got his flask and is just whispering to it.
He's just hanging out with Goop.
Yeah, it's like my real friend.
Just chill with Goop.
It's
Because
just-
that's totally cool. It's
It's
not
just
weird at
now.
all to do that. It's totally normal.
Catch the
Especially
sequel, chilling with
hanging out
Chilling
with Goop. All right. So Looking at this obelisk, the spot hidden success, especially your hard success, while it doesn't seem to have any immediate bearings, as you walk around the base of it, though, you see that there is like a circle around it of like pave stones. Like you can see through the ice because it is buried in the ice a bit, but you can see them. It's like, regular paving stones that the streets are made of, but then there's a ring of white stone around it. And as if you walk along the outside of the ring, you see that the tip of the obelisk matches up with certain buildings in the area. Maybe this was used at some point as a kind of directional thing, as a navigation type of device.
Interesting.
It lines up very well with specifically the ice cream cone shaped building, and I think the pyramid as well, but I'm looking for the map to make sure.
Okay. So it just seems to be like a navigational aid, or
Yeah, it seems to be a navigational.
Well, as
A
much as I'm
very,
hoping to
very
be here.
resilient stone, as it hasn't corroded at all.
Can she try to take a sample out of this, or like will it
Give
yield
me
to
a
her trowel?
strength check.
Okay.
I'm super strong, y'all. I mean, that's lower than a 40, so.
All right, so you're like you try to like tap 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 tap, and it doesn't work. So you kind of just take out the hammer and just like no one will notice it. This is on the back side. You're like, where the chisel just kind of kink, and you get a tiny pebble off of it. That's about it.
Okay.
Just to it had like a slight chip in it already. You gotta hit the chip, and the chip pops off.
She grabs that little hunk of
I think
stone.
the
and,
only reason you got it off is because it was already previously chipped.
Yeah, so she'll take that and prepare it for delivery for later.
Okie dokie.
Well, not as much to see here as I'd hoped, but at a guess, this might have been some sort of navigational aid for
Interesting.
whoever was here.
And what to? What to navigate to?
Yeah, how do you get that?
Well, here, look at this.
And she'll kind of demonstrate how
walk
to
around
land
and line it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And sort of like give the tutorial on how to use this primeval Google Maps.
Nice.
Precambrian Google Maps.
Yes.
Well,
So, I suppose if we're ever lost, this is a very good place to try and find yourself.
I guess that's
Baxter,
comfort.
can you do anything with this? Does this help you in any way?
We can try to jot this down so that we can share this with the others back at the camp. So if they want to use this as well, they can study it, they can examine it, or at least, if anything, document it.
I thought it'd be fun a bit more, considering what you said. I don't know, but
Well, as I said, there are several structures here that could be interpreted as a tower. This is just one of them.
it's true.
And there's whatever Hunter saw in his dream.
Yeah,
Which
this
seems
doesn't
like-
look like what I saw, does it?
Mm-mm. Nope.
No, so Hunter shakes his head. No, this is not what I saw.
Exactly.
Hmm?
If I had to take a guess, it might be that what you saw and what I'm being told about might be related, but we can't say until the weather clears up.
Are you saying what Hunter dreamt has a correlation?
It seems reasonable to me, all things considered.
It wouldn't exactly be so strange given what's been happening before with dreams and the like.
No. And
It's just... It was definitely dreams of, like, if we would look at and as a standpoint, the ways of Hunter and Lena's brains work. For them to clash into the similarities to dream or any of these aspects, it's something amazing to hear.
It certainly is, and I'll definitely take some notes on it. That's for sure. And I must say as well, not only that, but I have had previous experiences with images of this place beforehand. My late wife, she described in vivid detail the vista that we saw as we flew over the mountains. Something that she would have never had knowledge of, and it was perfect in its detail. I remember them very clearly. And
Your wife
Mr.
was on the
Rourke-
expedition?
No, she was not. She never went to it. Nowhere near. She was ill for many years. She couldn't have gone on an expedition.
How would she have
Fascinating.
known?
There is no way. This is what I'm saying. And on top of this, did you remember the painting? Was it Mr. Rory?
Nicholas Rorik.
There was a painting by Mr. Rorik that depicted those mountains in the same manner. It's very eerie, it's very strange, and now your dreams giving us more information on this is as much as my professional and medical training says differently. I must say that maybe there is more to these dreams that has bearing on reality in a more direct manner.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, it seems that beyond these mountains, there seems to be nothing but madness.
I agree. And yeah,
Okay, I'm done. Go now.
We name dropped. We're good. Cut.
Boom.
clever.
Roll credits.
All right. So do you guys go to investigate any of their sites?
What else can we see just visually reconning from this tower?
The only two things that appear to line up with the tower and the immediate vicinity would be the ice cream cone-shaped building and then the pyramid, the Black Pyramid.
All right, is that a 19 out there?
One is a
Map.
17, the other is a 16. I don't see the 16 on the map, but it's close. It's not very far. They're right next to each other at the book.
Baxter's drawings.
Our cartographer is not cartographically inclined. As much as we thought.
We've definitely been stressing his pencils since we've been out here.
Yes, definitely.
It's got restraint.
Lena, choose.
I think
where we go.
yeah, she would take a look at their options here and
Well, pyramid is fascinating, but that one, there's nothing of the sort I've seen in other dig sites or other histories. I'm curious to see what we might find there.
Let's go.
let's go to the ice cream cone.
Okay, you could probably hit both before lunchtime and then go back to camp. So you go to the ice cream cone first. So this one, it's real interesting. It's a bit of on a hill. You see that there is rubble just surrounding it for 70 yards in a diameter around this ice cream cone-shaped tower. You see that it's kind of the cone's on buttresses with kind of a blunt eroded spire on the top. Give me an archaeology roll, Lena.
Okay. I don't know why it rolled twice.
That's all good.
Weird.
Weird. So, 31. Roll twice.
16.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's a
so,
hard success.
yeah, with a hard success, it kind of bears somewhat of a resemblance to the Sneak Tomb in Petra. You've seen a lot of pictures of that.
Okay.
You kind of get inside. There are smooth, gentle ramps without the usual ribbing. This is the first time you've seen ramps without the ribbing kind of carved into it. But they're much more gradual. And you see that the archways are taller and wider than the ones you've seen before. Also, these rooms are very open, not as much small and contained, but they all have a slight curvature to them. There's no sharp angles in here. It's all sloping and curved. There's no murals or furnishings in here, but you can find faint traces of inscriptions just beneath the ceilings, like above a lot of the doorways, and a looping script that you've not seen before. This isn't the dot textures. You see a lot of, like, it's almost like cursive, but it's way stranger than cursive.
Okay.
And outside, you also notice on the ground, give me an Elder Cipher check. See if there are a few dots in the gravestones leading up to this building.
Cool. And that was against a 25, right?
Yep.
Dang it.
All right, so you don't read the writing. You can mark it down for later. You can copy it.
Yeah.
You just can't decipher it in a quick amount of time. It's not like that's what this is. So you go find that. It's the whole design of the place feels very serpentine to you.
Okay.
And then you hit the pyramid on your way back.
Yeah.
All right. So you see that it's a squat pyramid with 4 layers. You recognize that this is made from like one of the outer, like it's got a plating of new stone on top of old stone. You can kind of see like in a part where it's kind of weathered. The newest material kind of used to cover it is like a Jurassic sandstone, surrounded by a thick angled basaltic rampart. There are no adornments on this. It's very plain. It's one of the plainest buildings you've seen. There's no artsiness to it. It's just very straightforward. The stairs kind of leading up to the top, and they're not much stairs as much as very deep grooves, kind of like as if each side was a ramp, but much larger. But they're practically stairs to you all. Lead up. It's a bit winded. It's a bit of a hike, but on the top there are double doors, and they are they are massive doors. They are 4 yards high and 3 yards across. You're with a big complex knot-like symbol set in the center of each door, made out of amber. And they are wooden. They're wooden doors. You manage to push them open, and they're about a foot thick, each one of them. Whatever it was made for was made to last. Inside, you see that the room fills the entire level of the pyramid, is in the shape of a 5-sided cone. So basically the same 5-sided pyramid that you guys walked into. It's just hollow on the inside. You see that the walls, floor, and ceiling are tiled and polished obsidian, and with hundreds or thousands of tiny quartz flecks, kind of used as mortar between them. You kind of look around, and especially if you shine your flashlights a bit, it kind of reminds you of the night sky, the way it sparkles with the darkness of the tiles and the mica. The only furnishing in the chamber is a rough stone block, about 1 yard across, which is about waist high. And on top of the block are 5 crystals, thrusting upward, almost like fingers of a hand. And the stone between them is drilled out to the depth of almost a foot. And nestled at the bottom of the hole is a smoky quartz egg about 2 inches long. And its surface is intricately covered with tiny dot clusters.
Okay. I'm gonna look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that as well.
All right.
Yeah. She's gonna get close to it and not touching it or pulling it away, but she's gonna kind of lean down, crouch down, whatever she needs to do with her flashlight to get a look at it and see if she can decipher.
Okay, give me that roll.
I do an idea roll.
Hunter and Olaf
yeah,
are going to be standing by the door.
Okay. Yeah, you can give me an idea roll, Hayden, if you want to try to figure out something about the pyramid.
I pass.
All right. So the whole construction of this reminds you a lot of a temple of some type. Just the way it's shaped, you kind of get the ancient temple vibes off of it.
I was looking at the crystal things as well.
The crystal things as well. The crystals, you know that some places believe that crystals have energies. So maybe the fact that they're positioned kind of around it, 5 crystals, and the thing has 5 sides, maybe they're kind of protecting or charging the small quartz egg that's intricately carved. Because that's the only thing inside the center.
How far away is this crystal thing from like any of the windows, and can I see the
There's
reflection
no
of the sun?
windows in here.
Any like
It's just
openings or
all that
anything?
obsidian.
Mm-hmm. The room is huge, so it is. Let me see if I can get how big it is. It's several yards away, at least a good 10 yards on each side.
Okay, and no like openings or anything like that. That's completely solid.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is strange.
The only opening is the opening you came in, which has a ramp down.
This is strange. The only opening I can see here is the way we came in, and this whole structure reminds me of a temple, some kind of religious or sacrificial.
Sacrificial.
I would like Hunter to give me an idea roll.
But it's strange. I would normally consider these shards to be some kind of light, like kind of a reflective performance during the ritual, but
I see.
Okay.
no opening.
You follow a lot of rituals, Hayden?
I may not be as educated as you, but I'm quite smart, and I read a lot of books.
It's not as I seem to need. I'm not well read on such things, but just curious.
Does anyone have points in occult?
I do.
Yeah,
You can give me an occult roll if you'd like.
Sure. I have a 25 in that.
Hey! Oh, all right. It could definitely be some kind of ritual thing. You've seen some weird stuff.
So
It
Hunter's
seems as though
on
it
the
was placed
door.
with intent.
Yes, I mean, the reason I bring up the ritual stuff was because when we were in the hangar, some of the blood and gore reminded me of voodoo rituals. So most old civilizations had that kind of belief, I guess, superstitious
see.
and whatnot.
Do we still have the drawing on us of the scene? The way the symbols were placed and the width. You know?
I think Baxter had a sketch, but if you compare it, they don't look similar.
Okay.
Can I? Because I remember when I looked at the dots on the soapstone, they reminded me of astrological navigation.
Yes. Would you like to roll me an astronomy check?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Here. Ooh, that's a 14. That's a success.
Okay. So, with a success, you kind of look around and you shine your flashlight. Standing kind of near the crystals at the bottom, yes, you see that there are certain clusters of mica between the obsidian tiles that definitely remind you of constellations, specifically constellations that you've seen before on Earth. They are kind of in weird positions, but you realize that these are probably ancient stars move and stuff, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Earth's going around the sun. Maybe a different time of the year, but they definitely appear to be constellations that you have noticed, albeit in a different position, from your camp. It's not too far off, maybe a couple 100 miles.
I mentioned this. Does the crystals, they can be taken out, and does it look like they're in
The crystals can't be
formation?
taken out. They're embedded. They're embedded in a 5 formation. There's 5 of them. They're kind of kind of stuck in the stone. But the egg itself, the little quartz egg with all the dots in it, can be moved. It's just sitting in a stone bowl, essentially.
Does the crystals remind me of the constellation or of the signet dots of the soapstone? Like, could I position them in
Neither.
that kind of?
But do you give me a navigation check?
Yeah, I can do that. Wait. Where's my navigation? Let's see here. Okay, cool. I'm pretty high now. It's a. You're a 21 or a 12. Either way, I pass.
Either way you pass. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Hard
with
success
your
'cause
navigate,
it's a
they don't
17.
remind you. Yeah, they don't remind you of the stars or
Extreme
the-
action.
things, but they do remind you of the mountains. The way that they're carved, it doesn't seem that these are natural crystals. You kind of look at them and they look carved. You can see edges where they've been cut off from their natural. These were definitely carved to be in the shape of mountains, it looks like.
Like it's again like the silhouette kind of thing.
Kind of like once you kind of lower yourself down and look at it, you definitely get a mountain vibe.
Can you hold on.
Probably a cluster of 5 mountains in this range, if you had to guess,
Yeah.
based on the star positioning and these crystals.
Since it's kind of dark in here because the light is kind of what we're running. I'm gonna ask if we can close the door a bit, and I'm gonna turn my flashlight on and see if we can kind of get that silhouette of the mountains reflecting on the obsidian.
Okay, yeah, it's not hard to do. It kind of does look more like a mountain range when you kind of, although it does pass through a bit because they are crystal.
Mm. And you see that? It's strange.
Sort of projects in some manner.
Yes.
That's interesting.
As you pass the light through the crystal as well, you can see in the kind of like the shadows, you see like dark swirls that you kind of can't tell because it's white. They're white crystals, but with the light shining through them, it's just where it's more dense. But it kind of looks like dark tendrils swirling inside of the mountains as you kind of look through the silhouette.
Odd. This could have some practical use, or it could be symbolism for the mounting. And if that's the case, I kind of point to the egg. I don't know what that means.
I
don't know, but-
Center?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not inclined to disturb it.
I have no idea what it means.
Someone wants to touch the egg?
I think
Well, want
Hayden-
and knowing better from a like this could be trapped perspective, because who knows what's going on here.
I think I'll get closer to it. at the very
Hayden
least.
touches the egg.
Chilling in the stone bowl, you touch the egg, nothing happens.
I scream.
Hayden, you're-
Hayden! That is a priceless artifact. You do not touch that with your bare hands.
I think he kind
She
of
didn't want to
did.
touch it.
Well, they are gloved. You all are gloved because it's your hands would fall off. But
Terrible Antarctic gloves, not like
Yes.
artifact handling gloves.
yeah,
though.
no,
That's
they're
the thing.
yeah.
No,
So y'all leave the egg. You take it with you. Yeah, you write down notes about it.
Yeah, Baxter,
do?
could you kind of sketch that whole thing out there real quickly and before anything gets moved?
Give me an art check.
Nightlight. Why am I whispering?
I don't know.
Is it
Damn.
possible to discern what kind of stones the crystals and whatnot are?
Whatever basic crystals are made out of when you go to like
Okay.
a shop, like in the mall. Those kind of crystals.
God,
Not
it
quartz.
says-
Oh, okay.
It says touch
Yeah.
shop on it. What does it
In
mean?
God.
Elder City.
What does it all mean?
It says
Oh, man.
dab.
Right.
Do you want that? Do you want to take that, Lena?
Hmm.
It's quite
I
the fun.
imagine Professor Moore might be more interested in this than me. He's the geologist, but
I guarantee
might
you
as well
he
bring
would.
it back to him.
Yeah, it's covered in the little dot script. It's got like little lines kind of like separating it. Just circles it in rows and rows.
All right, so
Or
Hunter
official-
will usher everyone except Lena to the door. Everyone to the door.
Thanks.
Sebastian will happily comply.
All right,
Hayden
Hunter's
will
gonna
back.
stand.
Hayden
Hunter
will
will
stay
stand
with you.
beside Lena. Hunter will stay beside Lena.
Okay.
All right. She's going to bust out her tools and carefully collect this thing.
Yep.
And get it bundled up for
Wrap it up into the real
for
soft.
transport.
Yep. You wrap the egg. Nothing happens. Package it all good in a nice cloth bundle. Put it in your bag, and you're able to head back to camp for lunchtime. Y'all are getting pretty hungry at this point. Time for
No, I'm
some
not.
more tasty pemmican. Your stomach growls.
Delightful.
I know. So good.
Can't we just kill
I
one of
think
those
we've all
eyeless
forgotten
seals?
what real food tastes like by this point.
Well, there's some seals if you really want to go hunting.
Those eyeless seals, dude, sound delicious.
Yeah,
Vaguely tempted.
as we are heading back, Olaf and I will kind of spark up a little discussion. How would we catch one of those or two?
Well, we do have guns. If we
Yeah.
shoot in skull, it's not going to do much. We just have to get headshot.
Agreed, but that's kind of loud. I don't know if I want to risk.
It is very loud.
Can we make
We
like
could try to lay trap.
a tarp, kind of like a net? That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking.
All right.
I think both of us together could
It's
probably
too big for
pick
stick
one.
and bucket.
Absolutely.
Need bigger bucket.
All right. So you guys are talking about how to hunt a seal. We get some real food in here. And you walk back to camp. So you walk back to camp. Lunch is being served. You see Joe is by the airplanes, kind of just doing his, like, making sure, like, brushing off on any snow. He's been taking real good care of the Weddle and the Enderby. And you see people kind of walking around. Some people have their food. Like, pretty much everyone's reconvened. A lot of people are in line to give more stuff and samples. Moore's got a cup of coffee.
Has the guy
People
come back?
wandering around. Huh?
Has
The doctor?
rest
No, you
come?
don't see Dr. Green anywhere. But you do just see, because everyone's bundled up, it's kind of hard to tell, but you ask if someone's seen Dr. Green, and no, Dr. Green hasn't returned back to camp yet. But as you guys are kind of got your little tins of pemmican and like a couple sardines and a cup of coffee, and you're chowing down, see Joe's eating his pemmican as well. He's kind of chilling next to the Weddle, and all of a sudden you hear three gunshots come out, pow pow pow, as someone who is also walking around with a tin of food drops it, pulls out a gun, and shoots at Joe 3 times next to the airplane.
Oh,
And
shit.
Joe, you see red kind of start to form on his parka. He falls down, and
Joe.
this individual who only now do you notice doesn't have the same mouth breathing, the nose clips in the tube, but instead has the German style masks that the Bell, the people who were flying aboard the Bell had on them. And as he gets into the airplane,
I
and
shoot
you hear those
before
3
I get
gunshots
there
go off.
if I can.
We're gonna pause. We're gonna stop there. Nope. Yes, we're gonna pick up right there. It happened so fast. You basically heard the gunshots and had to see where it came from. And by the time you notice Joe bleeding out, you see this person go into the airplane. So that's where we're ending today's episode of Beyond the Mountains of Madness. Everybody. Woo! Exciting, right?
Damn it. Not Joe. I brought him here. No.
I know. Well, the guy didn't roll very good on his 3 gunshots. Oh, let me roll damage. Let me see how Joe's doing.
And you took our doctor away.
I did. Well, I didn't take him away. Somebody else did, or something else did. But that's aside from the point. So we're gonna go around. I know we ended a few minutes early, but it was just the perfect place to end right there. So
Cliffhanger.
we're gonna go around. We're gonna say who we are, where we can find you on the internet, and what your favorite part was. So let's start around with Dear Baxter.
Hello everyone, I'm Cthulhu64 playing the artist Baxter Wiggins. You can find me at Twitter on Cthulhu64 and also on Twitch as well at Cthulhu64, and you'll see me every Sunday night where I would be the DM for an all-girl campaign in Curse of Strahd. They call themselves the Lovely Lady Crumps. On a special that note, there will not be a session this Sunday because I'm going to be on spring break with family in California, and also Saturday means I will not be here next Tuesday, so I'll definitely miss you guys. But gosh, I don't know what is with my trend of finding like my favorite parts be the parts that should not be the favorite, but just the line "you'll know," and with interaction with Hunter and his imaginary friend. Oh
out.
my! Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm glad someone clipped that so I can share my reaction to my friends, because my action was genuine.
I mean, Shoggoths are just big, cuddly Cthulhu creatures, right? Right? I mean, you guys don't know what Shoggoths are yet. Although I will say, Hunter had a 20% chance to beat one today, but the dice decided that was a bad idea. So, Hunter, speaking of, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm seeing Shoggoths, whatever the hell they are. Yeah, I'm Hunter Merrill here. I'm Immersion out here at Meat Space, and I create geek content. You probably see my stuff on Geek and Sundry. I love being on this here stream with these guys. Yeah, just the exploring, the finding the new areas. Not only the ones that I'm finding, but that everyone else is finding. Just keeping an eye out for the answers to the questions that we're trying to find. But like I said last week, we're just finding more questions, it seems, but it's still impetus to keep going and keep exploring, and that's what I'm digging. Favorite parts.
Awesome. And a little cup of Joe, our fantastic archaeologist. You're muted.
There we go. I learned a language today, but I didn't learn how to use my mute button. Everything comes at a cost, apparently. Yeah, it's fine. I am Little Cup of Joe. You can find me on the Twitches and the Twitters at Little Cup of Joe. Specifically, this weekend on Sunday, you can find me running a very wholesome, not this Ryutama campaign on my channel at 12 Pacific on Sunday. We do that every other week. It is JRPG inspired and very cute for now.
And what was your favorite part today?
The Shoggoth talk frightened me a little. So I guess that was probably my favorite. Although figuring out the cipher stuff was quite nice at the cost of a little bit of sanity, finally. So that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, reading is probably one of the most dangerous things in Call of Cthulhu, so it's, it's about time. Hayden, how you doing?
That's my feelings. That's what I feel right now.
We can relate.
Because you hurt my boy, and I'm sad.
Hey.
It was also my favorite part. But yeah, super fun. To be also a weird crystal thing. So yeah, now we get to go and actually get to kill some Germans and find out what's happening, and me gooping a gun. It's this summer's new action film. I am Pro
Please, I
Star.
want to see it.
I know, right? Fucking great. I'm Pro Starter. You guys on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all under the same name. Super awesome to be in this group. And I'm just waiting for that moment when it becomes me, Goop, and the rest of the party, because I'm always going to pick Goop for life.
Yes, obviously. It's the obvious solution here. And of course, last but certainly not least, Sebastian.
Hello, yeah, brilliant session as always. Really enjoyed it. Favorite moment? Honestly, I think you've all covered most of them, but I do need to give that special moment of mine at least to Hayden and his drop of the name. It was a perfect sort of cut to credits moment almost. It was brilliant. Absolutely love that. I'm Hollowtail. You could find me on YouTube at Hollowtail, where I do different sort of little videos around RPG topics and a new little lore series that's starting as of tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting. Also, you can find me on Twitch, where I am same thing, Hollowtail, and that's where I'm currently going to be streaming Mass Effect on Monday, which is a very fun game with some interesting and quite fun sci-fi YouTubers, as well as running another game soon, a Unhallowed game, a Victorian horror game on that every Saturday, for every 2 Saturdays, which features a few members of this stream. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. And of course, I'm Lindy. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Y'all covered most of my favorite parts, but I want to let y'all know how long I've been waiting to tell you guys that there are eyeless seals and giant albino penguins up here. Like, it's been a while, so I was finally glad to be able to get that out there. Aside from that, yeah, this is super duper fun. I love this group. You guys are awesome. We wish that Renee will be with us next week, hopefully she feels better. We did miss her terribly. I hope I did her justice with a little bit of meteorology here and there. Definitely not just to trap the party. If you had rolled the things, they would have gotten the same answer, so it's definitely just fact, not fiction. But anyways, find me online where I play in /DM about a dozen or so tabletop RPGs a week. I'm a complete nerd. If you want to watch more Call of Cthulhu, check me out as a player tomorrow on Wednesday, right here, from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm sure everything's going to be fine. I'm in a mental asylum, and that'll be great. So, it'll be fine. But till next week, we will be basically whiling down the hours, wondering what happens to Joe and the Weddle, because, airplanes are important when you're on the bouts of badness. So, till next week, don't murder all your friends, don't go insane. Bye!